It's a never-ending energy. Like, whoa, I know you don't want no enemies. I know they hate you, look that beautiful right next to me.
Alright, so just as I was saying, right when I dropped that video on the leaks, the new translations do come out, and as promised, we're going to be covering it. And as I was talking about in the leak video, we're starting off right where we left off with Beelzebub's chaos attack. Some people speculated it was a transformation, but it wasn't. It was just an attack where he connects his right hand and his left hand, one being offense, one being defense, with the two vibrations coming together, Baal and Zebul meeting in the middle, and it creates this nuclear attack. It's this giant black sphere. We've seen it in the last chapter, but this chapter really shows the scope of it. It encompasses the entire platform that they're on, the entire hexagonal platform, and there's black lightning all around it with spirals all in the sky. It really looks pretty cool. And honestly, you're just wondering, how the hell did Tesla survive this? Because he does survive it. And one of the big talking points from the end of last chapter was Zeus was freaking out when Beelzebub pulled this attack out. I don't really remember a time where Zeus was that freaked out over an attack. Like, he was like, no, Beelzebub, don't unleash that attack. And we get more information on why that was. He said he had heard rumors from Hades because Beelzebub had done this attack once before in the underworld. Zeus says he never personally seen the attack, so I don't know. It doesn't really add up. Like, I guess he was just going off Hades' hype of the attack. He knew the destructive capabilities of it. It was pretty destructive, but in the end, it really didn't do that much. Like, there was no bad ramifications. Like, nobody in the crowd got attacked. The gods weren't harmed in the crowd. And honestly, it just destroyed the platform that they were using. So nothing out of the ordinary. So it was a little overhyped. But one thing that was really cool is that when Zeus is talking about this, we actually get the flashback of when it was used. And Beelzebub was using it against this monster. This monster looks very, very similar to the picture of Satan we got in his in Beelzebub's backstory, where they showed us the picture of Satan in his dreams. I don't know if it is him. It may just be like a demon, a big dragon looking type monster with horns, but it looks very similar to Satan, bro. So I don't know. We were under the impression that Beelzebub never found Satan, and he just accepted that he was him. So maybe this was something that was going on in Beelzebub's head, and he saw like a projection of what Satan looked like, and he just committed absolute destruction to the environment around, attacking almost like a hallucination. That's possible. Maybe Satan manifested in front of him somehow. Maybe he possessed something else. I don't know for sure. And again, it could just be some random monster, but I feel like there's a little bit more to it. What do you guys think? After that, we see that Tesla did survive the attack, and we find out that he used one of his coils, the one on his other hand. So he used the one coil earlier for his Tesla warp. Now he has used both coils that were on his hands, meaning he is down to one coil in the center of his chest and whatever is on the back of his suit, the big giant halo thing. But we don't know if that's a coil or if it's something completely different entirely. For now, Tesla has stated that he only had 3 coils, so we have to assume that the middle one on his chest is his last of the traditional 3 coils. But like I said, expect that thing on his back to make some sort of impact. I think that that's definitely going to happen. Also, don't forget that this was Super Automaton B, standing for beta, so there could be a Super Automaton Alpha leading to a possible transformation. I don't know, because as I was talking about in the leaks, there's speculation going on that the next chapter is actually going to be the last chapter. I'm pretty sure some of the translations from the magazine that Ragnarok is posted in Japan was saying that the next chapter will be the finale of the fight. And I talked about in the leak that I really didn't expect that. I think that there's a lot more to this fight we still need. I feel like it's been lacking a little bit. We kind of got to kick into that final gear. I kind of feel like this was the perfect time to kick into that final gear. So a couple more chapters, I think easily could go on, especially if we are going to get those transformations like the Satan transformation and the Tesla transformation. And in my leak video, I talked about, well, maybe it'll be a situation like Buddha and Zero, where Buddha defeated Zero, but he unleashed Hajin, and then there was a subsequent fight with Hajin afterwards. So maybe in this scenario, Tesla will defeat Beelzebub in the next chapter, and Satan will emerge, because I feel like Satan has to emerge. They built this all up. When Beelzebub's getting ready to die, Satan comes out. When he's at his happiest, Satan comes out. So if Beelzebub is going to lose, he will feel happiness because his dream of death in battle has finally occurred. And in this chapter, he says that he respects Tesla. He really gives him praise for taking that attack. That destructive ability is nothing to take lightly, and Tesla ate it. So I feel like Beelzebub definitely would be pleased, even though we know that he did want to win this fight. That's part of the reason he whipped out that chaos attack, because he's trying to avenge Hades. He said he wanted to win. I don't know. I feel like Satan has to come out. If he doesn't, it's a plot hole. And so my theory was, well, what if Satan just comes out and that is how we continue this fight? So it shifts to Tesla versus Satan for a few chapters. I think that'd be cool. And I actually hope that that does happen. So as I said, Beelzebub says you're incredible to Tesla, giving him endless praise. But then he says, hey, but it doesn't matter. This is the end for you. And keep in mind that this chaos attack did not just harm Tesla. It also did massive amounts of damage to Beelzebub himself. He has cuts all over his body. He's bleeding all over the place. And he took a serious amount of recoil. And that's why Zeus was saying this is such a double-edged sword to use anyway, because if you don't kill your opponent, you take a shit ton of damage too. And another thing I said in my leak video was I felt like Beelzebub was getting frustrated because he took Tesla lightly. He didn't think he had anything for him, didn't think he was worthy opponent, and Tesla had the full upper hand. He was moving him around, similar to how Jack was moving Hercules around, where it seemed like Tesla had complete control of the fight and set Beelzebub up for everything that transpired. So Beelzebub was like, nah, bro, I gotta regain control, and he just unleashed chaos, which is the name of his attack. So when Beelzebub says this is the end for you to Tesla, Tesla's on the ground, and as you guys have seen, Tesla, when he emerges, it's an awesome panel. His suit's all scratched up and everything. There's blood leaking all over the place, and he's down on the knee at this point, and he does his no spiel in all the different languages, and he says nothing has ended yet. There is no way to end humanity. So he's dropping bars like usual. Tesla's got some of the best quotes, rivaling that of Chin. I mean, I think Chin is, you know, the quote master, but Tesla's had some pretty cool quotes. And this kicks us off into Tesla's backstory, him as a child. We got a little bit of his projects, but now we're getting his childhood. And the main theme of his childhood was his relationship with his brother Dane Tesla, who was also a scientist and basically served as the catalyst for Tesla's determination to bring science to the forefront. And one really cool thing is that there's like a hideout that they have, like a secret base for working out in on their projects, Dane and Nikola. And the password to get in the door is 369, which is a nice, cool little Easter egg. They say, what are the numbers God loved? 369. And we see that when he opens the door, he's welcomed by Dane, his older brother. And Dane, like I said, was also a scientist who was working to create a windmill for the village. And he opens the door and he says, welcome to my laboratory, the Gematria Zone. And we know that the Gematria Zone is what the prison of the gods was to Tesla. So he just kept giving praise to his brother and keeps paying homage to him throughout this fight, which is a really cool detail. And basically what happens is we just get to see that their relationship is super strong. They have a super strong bond. And Nikola Tesla was a child prodigy. Even at age 5, he was wise beyond his years. He gave advice to Dane. Mistakes are not failure, because Dane's big thing was that he was so worried about failing because the windmill was coming together, but he was worried that it was going to be a failure. And he was making too many mistakes, and he was a perfectionist. Young Nikola says, as long as we know it's not a failure, our mistakes bring our goals closer. And, you know, Dane just loves his brother. He's like, remind me how old you are. 5 years old, impressive. Who could have thought that a child had such a brilliant mind? So obviously leading up to his whole life. And then basically Dane is explaining what the Gematria Zone is. And Nikola was like, yo, that name is kind of boring. You got to change the name. What about like super awesome house of God? And that's really cool because obviously we know Tesla's going to end up fighting the god, and he created the prison of the gods, which is his Gematria Zone. And it's all tied back together. And I want to make note that this was a translation by somebody on Reddit. That's where we're at right now because we got to wait super long for the officials to come out. But This translation is probably going to be a little different, but the gist is going to be the same. So that may be a slightly different name when it comes out, but I think it's all going to tie back into the God theme. And Dane just laughs at him when he says this, and he says, well, I'll consider it. And basically, one day there was a storm, but Dane was so invested in his research, he was so invested in his windmill construction that he went to check on the windmill in the storm. Like, he wanted to make sure it was going to be okay, or he was still working or whatever. And he wasn't coming home, so Tesla ran out into the storm, and we find out that Dane got struck by lightning and was killed by lightning. So he was killed by the lightning strike, which is a pretty unique way to die, and the windmill was destroyed. And that was the end of Dane Tesla, and this really impacted Tesla. His brother was also his best friend, the person he looked up to. And the sad thing was that they reconstructed the windmill, but it did not work. There was mistakes wrong with it. The damage was too great. Something was at fault. And Tesla made a vow that he was going to never let his brother be forgotten. His brother was going to live on forever. So Tesla took the original design of the windmill and improved upon it and rebuilt it to the point where it actually functioned and it flourished for the village, and everybody was so impressed by it. And in turn, he immortalized his brother because he completed his mission, and he gave him all the credit for it. He said, "Nah, I didn't redesign it. I just improved upon what my brother already did." And like I said, he made this vow that he was never going to let his brother be forgotten. And the best way for him to do that was to bring science to the world. He said, as long as science thrives, my brother will never die. And it kickstarted his whole obsession with science, always finding the next big thing, always improving upon what can be. And basically, he dedicated his entire life, and more so than his life, he actually continued his research in heaven. When he ascended to heaven, he continued research, and he had all that time. He just researched. And obviously, we know that led to the Super Automaton B being created and leading us to this fight. We get some cool shots of Tesla, and then we finally get back to the present with Tesla, with his brother Amp, his reminiscent about his brother, reminiscent about how his brother lives on through science. He gets back to his feet, stares down Beelzebub, and this was the best moment of the chapter for me. We actually get to see Dane in the crowd, and he is screaming, "No, Nicola," because he's obviously really hurt. So he's worried about his brother. He always cared so much. And Tesla says, "Big brother, you always worry too much. Everything is going to be fine. As long as we continue to inherit and develop science, humanity will never perish. And science connects humanity to the future. Humanity is one." And honestly, I loved it. It was a pretty simplistic backstory. It wasn't as sad as some other characters like Jack the Ripper, but it still had its sad moments, and it served Nikola Tesla's purpose. It was his backstory. It showed his motivation. So I enjoyed it. It was short, sweet, to the point, and we're kicking off into the final phases of this fight. Like I said, I hope that there's a few more chapters. I hope next chapter isn't the end. I know some people are antsy and want to see the next fighters. We all do. But I want this fight to get done correctly. I want it to be finished in a satisfying manner. And I think that we got more to go because Tesla has so many things. He has so many inventions. And I really want to see, especially like the death ray. Big opportunity for the death ray to be his final attack. I hope we get to see that. And, obviously we want to see that Satan transformation. There's also a possibility that we get to see a transformation of his suit to the Super Automaton A. I don't know. I'm really interested in this Tesla fight, and it seems like we've just been building. I think they laid a great foundation. We just need a little bit more meat to finish this fight off. But we'll have to see what happens. Maybe next chapter will be just amazing. Maybe it'll be this long, extremely long chapter. Maybe it'll be a double chapter. Who knows? And it'll conclude the fight in a great way. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you guys did not know, I am dropping my reactions to Wreck of Ragnarok Season 2 on my TikTok. You guys can go follow me over there if you're not already. Although a lot of you guys probably came to my YouTube from TikTok. But yeah, those videos are doing well. If you want to see my reactions, go check those out. Also, my reactions to Season 1 are in a playlist on there as well. So you can watch all those videos over there. Also, leave a like on this video. It helps it out, gets it pushed out to more people. We all love Wreck of Ragnarok here. More people need to know about it. More people need to watch it. And I love, to be the person that introduces these people to Wreck of Ragnarok. That was my goal with my reactions when I first started with Season 1. Then I started covering all the manga. and everything on YouTube. So I just want more people to see the show. I want this show to be supported because I love it. I think it's great, and I can't wait to see where we go in the future. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
She gon' do it with no hands, she a master. If they question how I get it, I got answers. Like, well, she got me tripping like